Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Give it here just a few minutes to get people to see that we're on live. So give me just a second. And yes, I'd said earlier that my wife would be part of this, and she is, just not yet. So so give us just a minute to kind of get things organized. And she said that she will be out here in just a little bit. Um, Basically, we were going to do this a little bit later. And then I noticed on the weather that, yeah, the weather's not looking too good. Should get some rain and possible, storms, heavy rain, which is good, but it doesn't work very well for our internet. So we decided to go ahead and do this earlier. And so she's still in the house, dealing with the children and that kind of stuff. All right, got some 5x5s on here, so it means I'm coming through somewhat clear. And she'll be out here. She was texting me and saying that she'll be out here in just a minute. So that's what you have to look forward to, is not just listening to me, but you actually can listen to my wife when she comes out here. She's usually way more interesting than I am. So that's what you have to look forward to here in just a few minutes, and then we'll get started. We'll do some question and answer kind of thing. I was gonna come up with some specific things to talk about, but usually on these live streams it's kind of difficult to talk about specific things and keep up with the comments and all that. So we're just gonna go with it. Yes, if you've just joined the live stream, if you wouldn't mind clicking the like button, the thumbs up, or whatever it's called. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. For those of you that are in my local area, and if you are, you probably know that you're in my local area. Our local meeting is this weekend. It's this Sunday. If you want to come and participate in it, you're welcome to. It is these are the meetings that are open to the public, and it is Sunday. The meeting starts at 2 o'clock. It goes for about 2.5 hours. But the big thing with the meeting is that we open the doors at like 11 in the morning, and you're able to come and mingle and meet and network, and you can stay afterwards too. It's a potluck. My wife and I provide part of the food, and then other people bring stuff. You're welcome to bring something if you want. If you don't want to or can't do it, that's fine. You don't have to. But it is this Sunday, and it's going to be a good one. If you want to know if you know where it's at, we meet in the same place every month. Just show up. If you want to know where it's at, shoot me an email, preparedhomestead@protonmail.com, and I think I'm caught up on all the emails of people wanting to know where it's at. And it is in South Central Missouri, basically. I'll give you the best way to tell you. Wow, yeah, a couple hundred people in the chat and only 16 likes, Eric says. That's right. Where do I purchase my herbs to make a tincture? Few different places. Star West Botanical is one. Mountain Rose Herbs is another. And there's another one, and I can't remember its name. But those are kind of the two big ones. Prepper Talk is in Plato, Missouri. That's not too far from me. Hope you're at our meeting this Sunday if you're able to make it. Let's see. Where's your 9-iron? It looked good on the wall. The pistol. Actually, it's sitting down here. It's still here. Someone was asking about the old black powder revolver, and it's still here. I'd taken it down and forgot to hang it back up, so it's still around. And let's see. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and we talk about it every day. But we need to be. I think we need to be cautious of ourselves. Someone here. I guess I should point this out. I've got to hang this up on the wall, and I haven't done so. This is made out of wood. If you can hear that. Someone at our local meeting makes these, and it's all handmade, very cool. Anyways, I just thought I'd tell you about that. Uh, there's so much stuff going on in the world right now. Most of it's bad. Um, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to let it kind of bring you down, even for those that are, you know, kind of really trained. You've been doing this for a long time. You're well aware of all the things that's going on behind the scenes, or at least most of it. It's still very easy to bring you down. And I just want to let you know that you're not the only one. I mean, I think all of us at some point, I'll say this. I don't know how honest a person is if they say that's involved in all this and says that none of it bothers them. That doesn't bring them down at some point. That there's not at some point where it's kind of weighting you down, or I think everyone at some point it's happening. The big thing is we can't allow it to keep us down. We know, most of you know, that in the end, we know who wins this war. And it's not America, and it's not Russia, it's not you or me, it's him up in the sky. That's right. We know that he's going to win this. And so we know the end of the story, and we have to keep that in mind. That even though there's some crazy and scary stuff going on out there, and many of you have family members that are they're just not awake of what's going on. And it's tough. It's tough. So I wanted to start off with just a word of encouragement to not let it get you down. We have to keep moving forward. We have to keep our preparedness in all ways, whole body, mind, spirit, all of that, because that's what we must do. Because I mean, what else are we going to do? Give up, roll over, play dead? We know that that's not an option. So yes, Tribulation Prepper said, "I see the chair, but no Rivka." Yes, you missed probably the first few seconds. She is on her way out here. At least that was the last. I'm out here in the little office shack, which is all it is, and she's in the house. And so she should be coming out here. Someone asked about my walks and weight loss, and I have been losing weight. It's not just because of the walks. The walks are definitely part of it. But I've also been doing some intermittent fasting and just overall eating healthier than I had been. I mean, we eat healthy in the sense that we eat almost no processed foods at all. We, very much of a whole food diet, try to eat organic if we can. But I've cut back on carbs. And increased, I still eat carbs, but cut back on the carbs and increase the protein. And then I do intermittent fasting. And then, of course, the walking, which ends up being just that one walk that you see in the morning. That's 5 miles. I walk 2 miles up and 2.5 miles up and 2.5 miles back. And the last time I weighed myself, and I don't weigh very regularly, but the last time I weighed myself, I was down about 44 pounds. That's since the heaviest that I can remember of myself when I started all this. So that's pretty decent. Let's see here. It is starting to rain outside. So unfortunately, what that means is it's a gamble on how well my internet will hold up with the rain. It may do fine, and it may not. So. Be aware of that. If the internet cuts out and we have to, shut this thing down, that's why. I'm going to text my wife, see what's taking her so long. All right. I'm going to look at the thing. This is not going the way I wanted it to. She told me to go ahead and start, that she was just going to be a couple of minutes, and it's been more than a couple of minutes. Billy Bird asks, "Will the beard and glasses set be available for purchase before winter?" I actually was considering buying a fake beard and glasses set, because I get people all the time, still, and it's been this way ever since I've had this channel, that will either they'll comment, but I've even had people send me emails. I mean, they go to the trouble of sending me an email and asking why I wear this ridiculous disguise. They know it's a fake beard and fake glasses. And anyone that has met me personally should be able to figure out that it's not a fake beard. And if I took my glasses off, I'm blind as a bat. So I thought about getting some fake beard and glasses and wearing over this just to make everybody happy. Looks like a good crowd tonight. Rabid Coyote said, absolutely it does. And it's funny because there's so many people in the chat room and so many people watching, and you're listening to boring old me, and my wife is not here. She's usually the better entertainment, I think. Let's see here. Trying to keep up with the chat room. It's kind of hard. That's the other thing. When it's just one person, if any of you have ever done this, when you're doing a live stream, you're trying to keep up with the chat and do everything. It's kind of hard. Oh, let's see here. Someone says I need moderators. Are there people being naughty in the chat room? I do have a couple, but they're not always on. So, listen, I'm very lenient when it comes to free speech and stuff. I understand that some things offend some people and it doesn't offend other people. Just keep it civil. Be nice. Be decent. We can be adults, okay? You don't have to be a jerk in the chat room. But yet you also don't have to be hypersensitive to something that someone says that you don't particularly like. That's just kind of how I look at it. I'm looking a bit pale. I think it's the lighting. I got a different light. I've got like these two lights here, but then I've got another light, and it's too harsh of a light. So I got to do something different. That's probably why I look pale. I see that too in my screen. I think that's what it is. Are you planting a winter garden? Some. We didn't end up. Some. We were wanting to do more. We may still do more. We've just been so busy of trying to get everything done here. Stuff with, our local meetings. Stuff within our community. There's several families that are in the process of moving here, and so we're kind of involved in that process of helping them find a place. Some of them are storing things, that kind of stuff here. And then there's others in our community that are, we're kind of helping get ready for the winter. Not just us, but people in our community. We're all working together. And so it's been really busy, and I haven't been able to get as much stuff done around the house as I've wanted to. It's just been a lot. Someone asked if I have a greenhouse, which is a good question because that's what I was, one of the things I was doing this week. We did have a greenhouse. And if you remember the hurricane, I'm trying to remember, was it back in May or June or something like that? The one that went through Kentucky and did all the damage. Well, before that became a hurricane, the storm went through this area. And it wasn't a hurricane, but it was still a very, very powerful storm. And it completely destroyed our greenhouse, which I guess is better than destroying our house or our barn. But the greenhouse is further out, was more out in the middle of the field. So I think it caught stronger wind as it came through, or the house and everything is closer to the trees. I don't know. But yeah, it completely destroyed it. So anyways, actually just the last few days I've been going over plans and budgets and stuff, trying to figure out, because I want to rebuild it, but I want to build it a little bit better, obviously stronger because of the storm, but maybe even a little bigger. And so that's what I was doing. It's not there yet. I'm hoping to have it built. I would love to be able to have it built before the end of winter so that it can be used next spring. That's the goal. But you know how those goals work. Sometimes they don't work out how we plan. Let's see here. Okay, someone said you PM'd me on TPH Network. I will check that when we're done here. Yes, someone says I need to get a greenhouse. I know it's important, and so that's why I'm working on it. Like I said, we had one, until the storm destroyed it. All right. I was looking at that. Let me check my phone. My wife hasn't gotten hold of me. I hope she's okay in the house. I'm sure she's fine. Yeah, someone says I'm setting her talking about her. I know she's not here. I got her a chair here. Looky here. I don't know if you can see this. I even have a microphone right here for her. All she's got to do is come out here and sit. She should be out here though. Maybe she doesn't want to come out on all the rain. Anyway, someone asked thoughts on 101st Airborne. Why this is news currently right now. I don't know why it's all of a sudden now, because the 101st Airborne's been there for several months. And here's the deal. The 82nd Airborne was there, okay? And I remember, and I don't remember when exactly, it was back in the summer that I received some emails from actually two different people, unrelated, but their stories were pretty much the same, that they either had friends or family that was in either the 82nd or the 101st, and they were pulling the 82nd back home and sending the 101st over. And the reason why that was kind of significant is because the difference between the 82nd and the 101st. They're both airborne units. They're both light, light armory type, light armed, light infantry basically. But the difference is the 82nd Airborne is specifically to do, and I don't remember all the proper military jargon, but they move in, take out a target, and then move out. Whereas the 101st is typically used as an airborne assault unit that goes in, takes a target out, and holds a position so that the rest of the forces can, they hold the front line so that the rest of the forces. And so at that time, a lot of people and that I had been talking to was concerned that this was in preparations for an actual war. So it wasn't just having the 82nd over there to, move in, take out a target, and then get out. The 101st was being moved over there to, go in and hold positions for an actual war. Well, now they're in the news, and they're saying they're quite ready for going into Ukraine and fighting the Russians. I think it is a little significant. I don't know if it's a lot of significant, but I think it is some significance to it. And everything right now, there is so much going on. It is an overload. I try to stay up on top of what's going on with the whole Russia-Ukraine, because it does seem right now that's kind of the center of the focus of everything. But you know how these things go. When we become focused on something because it's being talked about most in the news or it's trending on whatever, then we lose sight of the other stuff that's going on that's really important. Finally, she's showing up. We've been talking about you. All 200 or 300 people have been talking about you. My wife has arrived. Oh, did you bring me coffee? Oh my goodness. She brought me a cup of coffee. See, this is why I keep her around.
Hi.
All right,
Can
here's
anybody hear me or no?
Well, this is your microphone.
And then
here's your headphones.
Okay, gotta turn off my ringer.
All right.
Where can I?
Just set it there. It's fine.
Okay.
Pardon the well, it's not technical difficulties, but the so unprofessional, I know. We've got cords and wires and everything else floating around in here. Ooh, just moved the camera. All right, you can put that on so that you can hear me.
Okay, hang on.
And then let me turn your mic up. I guess I should do that.
Who wore this last?
Nobody.
Oh.
It's never been used.
They made it for big heads.
Well, I knew you would probably have something on your head,
Oh,
so I
was
stretched it out just in case.
Thank you. That was considerate. Okay, so what are we talking about?
Well, someone was asking about the 101st Airborne being in over close to Ukraine on the Ukrainian border. Here's the live chat. So
Shalom. Hi,
So, anyways,
Mrs. Travis.
Mrs. Travis. Oh goodness. The light is kind of bleaching our faces out. My wife's face looks really. Someone was saying my face looks really
Look,
bleached out.
it looks light if I do that too, but if I shade it, so it looks
Yeah,
like a.
it's the lighting. Sorry, I'm. Yeah, turn that light that way. That may be it. It's kind of turned the wrong way. I don't know if that's
a
any
little
better.
better.
It's a little better.
Maybe a little.
Anyways, so that I do think that what's going on with Russia and this possible maybe tactical nuke or dirty bomb and the 101st, I think it's all significant. I think it's important. But I feel sometimes when, this kind of stuff happens, and it's happened for the last couple of years, where there's a lot of focus, between the news media and the internet, and even in our prepper circles and stuff, there's a lot of hyper focus on something. I feel like, when you're on a wagon with horses pulling the reins back, because while it's all very important, I also think that, well, if we're all really focused on this one thing, what's going on that we're missing? And that's kind of been going on a lot, it seems to me anyway. So that's basically where I am on that. All right, any other questions?
Somebody said the lighting takes 10 years off.
Oh, well,
I think
man.
it's because we look dead on.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
we look whitewashed, right? Not dead, but like
Yeah.
whitewashed. Like there's no tone.
Mm-hmm.
There's like most everybody's just saying hi. Is that I'm gonna.
Yeah, try not to, but it happens. Smacking the mic,
guys.
you might hear it on your end, you may not.
I don't know. How do I scroll with this one?
You do this little thing here, and then you see that?
Okay.
So we're also playing with a new toy here. Because of how the setup is, it's sometimes difficult. Looks like we're buffering. Sometimes it's difficult with the computer that we're live streaming on to also keep up with the chats. So we typically have, like, her phone's set in here, and so she keeps up with the chat. Well, anyways, the little Chromebooks, like the little miniature notebooks, I found a refurbished one for $50. And I thought, well, $50, if it works, it would work good for this. And it's a touch screen. And so...
This is a good idea.
What?
Would you like questions to be in all caps? I think that would help.
Yes, I should have mentioned that beginning. If you have questions or something like that, please put them in all caps so that we notice them. So anyway, we've got this little notebook, netbook, I don't know, Chromebook, whatever it's called, and that's how we're keeping up on the chats. But we've never used it because I just got it. So we're trying to figure out how to use it while we're using it. What was the question?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Do you want to talk about this, or do you want to wait?
Oh yeah, your shirt.
Yeah, this is. Everybody knows you design them.
Oh yes, I design them. No,
you design the ones that you've worn.
So I've talked before about the couple of T-shirts. This isn't one of them. I'm not wearing it. You're
I'm
on
just
an
really proud, so I want to show everybody.
Yes, that I'm on an FBI list because of this T-shirt.
Here, look. Hang on just a second.
All right. So she designed her own shirt.
Can you move the camera down?
Oh, try to. Hold on. It might get crazy.
It looks like there's water or something on it, but whatever.
Yeah,
it says grow
gardens, not government.
Not government. And there's a couple of other designs, but I just thought that maybe the ladies might like those because, I think I don't know. I don't think most guys would like my designs because they're kind of girly, but that's what my husband says anyway.
Nah, I'm not gonna wear it. She asked if I wanted one. I said no, I don't want to wear it. But anyway, so yeah, there's some people that like the T-shirts. Some people criticize that. Well, the end of the world is near, and you're telling us to prep up, and we should. And you're now saying buy a T-shirt. No, if you have to choose between whether to buy, food, preps, guns, things like that, or a T-shirt, then most certainly put your money on your preps. But some people can afford it. They're not terribly expensive, And if you like it, then buy it, because
And
we're all
she's my
buying.
best friend, the
Yeah,
lady that makes it.
we're all
So
buying our own, clothes all the time, anyways. And these are made by our best friends, some of our very best
it
friends.
grafted in
Yes,
designs.
there's a link down in the description of this video, and pretty much every video. And they're good people, and it's just their home-based business, and we're mostly the t-shirts was really to kind of help them out, I think. I mean,
We wanted, well, a lot of people were asking for shirts.
yeah.
And I don't know, we had some nifty ideas, I guess.
Hmm.
And I do think it benefits them as well. But I think that people wanted shirts, like, official gear or something. Some people wanted that. I don't
Hmm.
know. We were kind of slow to that. Sorry, guys. But there's a question.
Oh, what is it?
Why did Texas have to sign an agreement to not boycott Israel for Hurricane Harvey relief money? Have you ever?
I have no
No,
idea.
I have no idea.
I have no
Okay,
idea.
so um, has anybody been able to find lamp oil?
Lamp oil. I haven't looked in a while, because we're pretty good on our lamp oil. Um, but you can use kerosene for most lamps. I mean, if you're talking like the old-fashioned wick lamps, you can use kerosene too. And kerosene usually doesn't burn quite as clean, but it still works. So that's something that you can do.
Can you share resources for a hydro setup? I'm trying to help a local farmer get power.
I don't have any resources currently for a hydroelectric setup, but
Ooh, I like this
I
question.
can do a
When
little
you're done with
research.
that. Yeah, we could do that.
Yep.
So, what's your plan for grid down refrigeration?
Okay, grid down refrigeration. Um, here I won't give you just our plan. I'll give you some options. If you live near a good fresh water source where the water's cold and spring fed, okay, that is, you can do the old fashioned way. Is they built a box and they would put it in that spring or that creek, and of course you have to seal up your food that can't get wet, and you just put it down in there. So if you have like jugs of milk, you seal them up in your mason jars, and you set them down in this box, and it's got that cold spring water flowing through it, and that keeps things refrigerated. So that's one way. Another way is just the old-fashioned cellar. You don't have to dig a humongous walk-in cellar. You can take an old chest freezer or trash cans, things like that, and you can bury them in the ground, and they do fairly well. I mean, they're not 100%, but they do fairly well. Another option, which is something that I want to do eventually, it's on my to-do list, is build an old-fashioned ice house. We have a lot of Amish around us, and they use ice houses. And I've gone and looked at theirs, and they're basically just a shed with about 12 to 18 inches thick of insulation. And
Just huge
yeah,
ice
it's just like a big cooler, big ice cooler, and then they put chunks of ice in it, and it stays cool most of the year. And then of course the more modern options is to have solar, is to have generator backup. Some things to think about, because if you're going to go that way, you want to use the least amount of electricity as possible. So there are options that you could get. You could either get a propane run refrigerator, or you can get one that will run better on DC, like a 24 or 48 volt, low wattage refrigerator that's typically used in off-grid. But there's also another option. If you get a chest freezer, and you need to do the research on this, you can typically buy a different type of thermostat on the chest freezer, because chest freezers use less electricity than a refrigerator. And part of that is that the freezer part is not sitting on top of the compressor. So if you think of your standard refrigerator in your house, at the bottom underneath you have the compressor, which is putting out heat, and then you put the refrigerator over the top of it. So the compressor that's cooling the refrigerator is fighting against its own heat to keep things cool. It's kind of not a really smart design. But anyways, chest freezers are much more efficient in a few ways. And so you can get thermostats to take a simple chest freezer and turn it into basically a refrigerator. It just won't stay as cold. And they use a lot less electricity than a refrigerator. So there's options there. You know, if you did that, and I've looked, but I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. But if you got an 8 or 10 cubic foot chest freezer and you converted it to where it was basically a refrigerator, it uses very, very little power. You know, it wouldn't take much of a solar panel and a battery and a 1,000-watt inverter, and you could run it easily. You know, a deep cycle battery, probably a 250-watt or so panel, 230-watt panel, and a 1,000-watt inverter, and you could probably run that as a refrigerator. I've seen people do similar things. So
somebody just said that.
You can, what you have to realize, and this is the big thing with like off-grid stuff like solar power. A lot of people, they want to take a modern house that's 2,500, 3,000 square foot that has heat and air and digital computer everything, and convert that over to be an off-grid house. And while it's possible, you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a system that's capable of doing that. The other way is if you figure out how little electricity you absolutely need, and I mean cut way, way back and downsize stuff and use things that aren't as convenient. I have seen people with $5,000-$6,000 or less, $2,500 to $3,000 solar systems pretty much run their whole house. Run their lights, charge things that they need, run a few appliances in the house, and run some small refrigeration. So it's possible to do. You're just not going to be able to run your 32 cubic foot, high-end refrigerators and your, high efficiency, fancy washing machines and dryers and dishwashers and all that other stuff, unless you want to spend, $50,000 on a solar system. So it's possible to do, and you can actually do it on a pretty decent budget, especially right now with all the crazy stuff. Solar system components are actually still pretty low, but I don't think that's going to last very much longer because most of it does come from China, and all this stuff going on between us and China, that could certainly change the cost of that stuff.
So Bush Doctor Survivals, who asked about the hydro, and he said, I thought you had one on the creek. He said, I'll do the video myself.
Oh.
So he's going to do the video.
Good.
And then we'll just tell you when he does it.
I do not have a hydro system on the creek, and you're not the first one that's told me that. And I know I need to. It's one of those things. It's on the list. I want to do it. I want to get a hydro on it. And then I also want to come up with some type of ram pump so that I can, because of course the creek is away from the house and downhill. So I want to work out some type of ram pump that I can get the water out of the creek and at least get it halfway up to the house, something like that. Those are goals.
So it's funny watching you because I think you're talking to me, but you're not saying anything. So sorry for the lag, guys.
Yeah, it is raining and storming, which I'm not complaining, but it does affect the
Yeah, we do need the
stream.
rain. That's
So
true.
I apologize for the buffering and stuff.
So some people are saying, that an inverter, like your ice machines, can do that. And if you put that in a cooler too, like you can just dump that in a cooler every day.
Yes.
If you have access to water, which you should, most people should.
Yeah, hopefully.
You have to dam the creek to get to the hydro, or to get the hydroelectricity from it. That's true. Yeah. There aren't a lot of questions.
I know. Or at least you're not putting them in all caps.
Have a manual. Well, I'm trying to read everything. I can go back up, though.
Oh, that's all right. We don't have to read them all the way to the back. They probably
Advice
gave up
for
on us
someone wanting
answering
to be self-sufficient but can't get a break. Oh, we don't know. We don't know anything about not being able to get a break. This man stays so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a hard one, I
It's
think, for somebody that wants to be self-sufficient, but
yeah,
you need the money to be able to buy the materials
you do
and
need money. It's hard. It's hard work. There's just no um, there's no other way around it. Many of you have, I'm sure, heard, um, or in history, you've read the stories about the original homesteaders going across, the West, and how very few of them actually made it. And it wasn't just because they died. Most of them just gave up. They just gave up. That's why the Homesteading Act, you had to stay there so long before you actually owned that property. And they did that because they knew that most people wouldn't stay there that long. Well, the reality is that today, the people that live the lifestyle that we live, the vast majority of them don't stick with it because it is hard. It's hard work. Um, Here in the Ozarks, we're always hearing of people that they move here, they want to either live off grid or maybe they're on grid, but they want to live this homesteading lifestyle, and then they don't last. Next thing you know, 6 months has gone by and they're selling their place and they're moving back to the city, or something else because they don't like it. So it's hard.
or maybe they like it, but they just can't hack it.
Yeah, they may
I
enjoy
mean,
it. It's too much. There's nothing easy.
yeah.
It's not easy. The other thing is it's similar to what I just said with the solar system stuff. You have to be willing to shed a lot of your modernity to do this on a tiny budget. There are things that we've done in the last 3 years that many people wouldn't. The way we've had to live to get to the point, and we're still certainly not there. I mean, we live in a tiny cabin. We started off living in a 30-year-old RV. To get it to the point that we could live in a tiny cabin, that's not completely finished either. There, we've, at times we've had to, shower, didn't even have like indoor showers and stuff like that. The sacrifices we made, and it wasn't necessarily.
Because when we got here, there was like nothing to live in.
Yeah,
well, except the RV.
Yeah, we bought this place. It was just pretty much raw, rough property with a old RV trailer sitting on it, and we've turned it into a homestead.
We had a little help at first, but you've done. I mean, everything for the last year has been you alone, and even with the help, it's a lot of work for you.
It's a lot of work.
One person, one.
Our field and garden area was just blackberry vines.
But we were
and
blessed
leaves and stuff.
because there wasn't. You called it. Remember the video you did? Called it black gold.
Yes, we do have good soil. We have very fertile soil here, which is actually kind of unusual for the Ozarks. But the bigger point is to live this life.
It's hard.
It's hard.
We're tired.
I hear people all the time saying, "Well, I can't move out like that because I got this job and I can't find the right kind of job there," or all this kind of stuff. There are jobs here. I mean, if someone wanted to find a job here, I can in one day I could probably find you 2 or 3 jobs, because I hear all the time. I know so many people in the area that they have job openings for things. Now, some of them are only part-time, and none of them pay huge amounts of money that you might find in the city. But when you compare, the cost of living out here is way low. Sometimes it works out to be more. In fact, we have some friends that's moved here a couple of years ago from a big city, and he has actually the same job. He had the job he works at. He was able to transfer to a place here locally. It worked out great for him. He does the exact same job that he did in the city, and he had to take a $3 or $4 an hour pay cut.
But he brings home.
But he said I bring home, because they were from out of state. He said, so our taxes are lower. He said, and when I do the money at the end of the month, he says I'm actually making more money at the end of the month, even though I'm getting paid almost $4 less an hour doing the exact same job, because everything's the cost of living, everything's better out here. So it's a give and take. If your desire is to move out and be self-sufficient like this, but you want a house already in place and you want everything, like a turnkey operation of a homestead, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay for that. You're gonna have to have the money, and even out here it's cheaper, but still you're still got to have that. You either have to have a lump sum of money or income or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to do it on a really tight budget, it can be done. There's a property not too far from us. It's 10 acres. It was just listed just a couple of days ago, and if someone wants to know about it, you can email me. I don't know I just saw that it was listed. It's 10 acres, raw land. They will do an owner finance, and the total price is like $33,000. So it's like $3,000 an acre. So, and while that's high for around here in the Ozarks, compared to what's happened over the last couple of years in housing and land, that's actually really cheap. And so, you could get into that property, and it's raw land, and you're going to have to go out there and figure out how to live on it. You're going to have to figure out where you're going to get your water. Do you need electricity right now? Where are you going to get it if you need it? What are you going to live in? People do it all the time. It's all right. People do it all the time. It's just how much you're willing to do.
So you get asked this question a lot,
mm-hmm.
but I think you should just do it
What?
and answer it. Tell everybody where you. I don't know if you remember the name of the song, but where you found your intro song.
Oh.
You get asked that a lot.
I get asked that a lot. I think I still have it on.
And then
here.
I have another question. I found some questions.
All right. So everyone asks about the song. I do not know the name of it, but Adobe Adobe Spark Video. If you sign up for it and you pay for the account and everything, you have access to royalty-free songs. And it was just one of those royalty-free songs. It doesn't list the name of the song. It doesn't list the whoever sings it. It's just a royalty-free song that you get to use, and that's the intro song. I wish I knew who played it. I wish I knew more about it, but that's what it is.
Obviously, you liked it.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have picked it.
Yep.
And I must have approved, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, because I tell you, I don't like that. I like it too. It's pretty. Somebody wants to know, how do you talk to your children and let them know what's really happening? And I think that that's a question that, I think it would depend on the age of your children, the maturity, probably whether or not they're homeschooled in public or public schooled. Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of variables, but I don't think we sugarcoat a lot of things, and then we shelter from other things.
Right. As far as talking to our kids about how bad things are in the world, we're pretty open to that. It's not like I'm going in there every day and saying, "Oh, kids, come here. Here's the latest news today."
Oh no.
But they know that things are bad out there. They know that they totally are up to date on, at least know about the whole the shot in the arm and all that kind of stuff.
Believe in instilling a spirit of fear. That's not it. It's
the things that we shelter from our kids is just the debauchery, the wickedness, the evilness, the that kind of stuff. But as far as talking to our kids about what's going on in the world, we have a 14-year-old, and then we have two 9-year-old twins. So of course the 14-year-old, we're going to tell him a lot more, and we do, and I do. I pull him aside and I tell him, and some of you are going to think this is awful, but most of you won't. I've been training him on weapons. I think he's totally old enough. I mean, when I was a kid, you went hunting when you were old enough to keep the barrel out of the dirt. That's basically how you knew you were old enough to go hunting.
And we know families that, they start that kind of training much younger.
And I'm not talking like training as in learning how to shoot. That's different. Like that happens earlier. I'm talking actual combat level training. Where I have been teaching him, and we've gone, our little group, we have an instructor.
With strict, guidance.
Right, very strict safety guidance and everything, but actual combat stuff. And it's not because we, have this desire that our son may even at some point use it, but because the way the world is going, he needs to know, especially as a boy becoming a man, he needs to know self-defense. He needs to know how to use that kind of stuff because, he's going to have a family of his own someday, and probably not that far away. He's 14, so a few more years, and the world will be worse than it is now, most likely.
Right.
And so he needs to know those kind
and
of
even
things.
if everything were perfect in an ideal world, you still have to worry about predators and then
Sure.
people's coming on your property,
Sure.
that sort of stuff. So I don't think it's unreasonable at all, even in a perfect world or ideal world. Maybe not perfect,
Right.
but if things were
But
ideal.
yeah, we don't want to get our children afraid. We want them, to not be. We don't want their innocence lost in all this.
Right.
But we also don't want them to be, totally clueless as to what's going on. Like, they know why we prep.
We want them to be strong in their foundation.
Right. I mean,
of how they perceive the world and the people around them. We handpick their friends, basically. Yeah. And, we want them to be children, but wise, too. Right. We want them to have...
They know why we prep. They know that we prep. They know why we prep. We talk about, how we don't talk about what we do and what we have, and which is something that every preparedness family needs to do, because sometimes kids don't get it. Like, oh, yeah, my mommy and daddy, they got lots of guns. Oh, man, you ought to see all the food we have in our closet,
Oh.
Make sure your children know not to do that kind of stuff. We talk about, if something happened and someone came onto the property, and I had to go out and defend the property. Where do they go? They have a certain place that they need to go, and so that I know where they're at if I'm dealing with things. And I've talked about that before here on the channel too.
Somebody says I'm trying to find it, reduce your resolution. I guess there's some issues. It's raining though.
Yeah,
just another
yes.
reminder.
We're on satellite internet and it's raining. So if you're having a hard time seeing or hearing us, that's why. Thankfully, it's a steady rain, but it's not like a heavy downpour. If it was, there would be no way we could be online at all. So that's why, if it's buffering or pixelating, it's because we're on satellite internet and it's raining. And anyone that's used satellite internet, you understand what I'm talking about. Anything else?
I don't see any new questions. Training is the best safety. That wasn't a question, but it was all caps. Training is the best safety. I think that's true.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that the first hunting, two people, I was trained with firearms when I was 6, proficiently, and the other person said that they went hunting. One of them was a woman. By the time that they were 6, that was her first hunting.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, that's pretty normal around here, I think.
Yeah, around here, it's funny because so many people, through this channel, I'm exposed to people all over the country and all over the world. And there's definitely places that guns, people still are terrified of them. Around here, I was just talking to someone the other day, actually, and they had recently moved to Missouri. And we were talking about this. I said, yeah, you go down to the local feed store and half the guys in there's got guns on them, like open, because Missouri has always had open carry. There was never a time that we did not have open carry in Missouri. And so before we even had concealed carry, there were people, especially out here in the countryside, carrying a pistol in their on their belt. And I can remember high schools with, deer rifles in the back of the pickup trucks. I can remember the high school in my town, during deer season, you could get an excused absence for like the first couple of hours of the day if you went deer hunting that morning and, showed up late for school.
What?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they would give you, your parents, they could get an excused absence, or a tardy, I guess is what it was.
In Texas, there was not open, but rifles and shotguns were always allowed, like up on the racks, in the back of the truck and stuff. But never ever got to get out of school because I went hunting.
Yeah. We lived when I grew up, it was a tiny little town, and it was nothing but farmers. A little bitty town.
A lot of people saying thank you.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate your channel. Hope we fare well.
Jason, thank you so much.
Jason Casper.
Yes. And Jason Casper, you have a YouTube channel, don't you? Scroll down and see if he puts anything there. I think Jason Casper, if you're still listening,
Oops, I went too
you
far.
have a YouTube channel, and if you want to, we're having technical difficulties.
Just a sec. Okay, hang on.
Sorry about that.
Advice for dating in these times. I'm glad I'm not.
Yeah, you've asked the wrong person.
That's a tremendous blessing. Someone said, wow,
Yes.
Jason, that's a blessing.
Thank you so much, Jason.
We just sat here kind of frozen for a second.
Yeah, I think
Thanks
Jason,
for the content.
I may have you mixed up with someone else, Jason. Are you the one that has a YouTube channel? If not, I'm sorry, but for some reason your screen name stands out as someone else that has a YouTube channel. And if you don't, that's fine. But if you do and you wanted to plug your channel, thank you for the gracious gift to us. But if I've got the wrong person, I apologize.
Time for a moderator.
Uh-oh. She's got to get in here and moderate. Someone's...
I need to add... What's...
Here. Hide user. Yeah, hide...
No, I wanted to add her as a...
I don't know her screen name. Just go ahead and do that.
So
someone's posting bad stuff. Well, if you do that, they can't even get back on the channel.
Oh, okay.
Someone asked about dating. I'll tell you this. I am so happy to be married because I would not want to be dating or at least trying to find someone in these times. In fact, if I were single right now, I may not even try. But I don't want to say that to discourage you.
He has a channel about trading crypto.
Oh, well, definitely. If you want to put your channel thing
Well,
in
mention it and people can
definitely.
see it.
Because I get people all the time asking about crypto, and I know a little bit, but I hate to say too much because I'm afraid I might misadvise someone. I don't, I feel like I know enough that I can do things on my own, but I don't want to advise anyone. So if you do crypto trading, Jason, feel free to plug your stuff because there's a lot of people that's always asking, and I don't feel I know enough to advise anyone or even give my opinion on it. But as far as the dating thing, we have a few people in our local group that come to our monthly meetings, and they're single. They're adults and they're single. Most of them are young, and
if
it's tough.
I were single, I think I'd go to our meetings.
Yeah, if you could find a meeting like this. In fact, one of the things that we've talked about doing, because
we have children that are going to grow up, and we have young adults that come.
And the ones that are the young adults, because there's several that are like, I'd say between the 20 and 30-year-old range that are single. We've actually talked about, doing some kind of singles event.
And we forgot to touch on it again, but we stay so busy. But I think that events like that, like getting the younger people involved, the 20s, can be kind of tricky. We're always excited.
We've talked to we've talked to pretty much all of them that come to our meetings, and they all say the same thing. Most of them would like to find a helpmate. They want to get married.
But they're waiting for the right one.
They're like,
they're
we
picky.
don't want these people that are out there today that are in our age group, our generation. It's awful, and so they've just, they're just seem to almost be not interested. But it's because they're not interested in what's out there. So I understand what you're going through, and if you can find, like groups like ours to be involved in, whether it's homesteading, prepping, some type of like-minded, that may be the best way or even the only way. Church is also possible, but man, anymore, some of these churches, you have to be cautious of which church you go to because there's some very liberal churches.
Is Missouri moving forward on the gold back? That's a good question. I hadn't even asked you that in a while.
I haven't gotten any updates from
Patrick.
Patrick.
Is it Patrick?
Yeah. He did do a video, I think it was actually last night, and I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy today, like really, really busy, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. So I don't have an update on the gold and silver bill going forth here in Missouri, but we're hoping.
Oh, we missed 2 other super chats.
Did I miss another super chat?
Hang on, guys.
I'm so sorry.
Look, there's another one.
Oh, my goodness.
SC777.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us
scrolls
know.
through so fast.
It does. It's not just that it went fast. It's that I was trying to block somebody, and then
that's why
I skipped over, and
someone
it was an
posted
accident.
about naughty stuff, and so she was trying to block it and delete it.
And then where's the other one?
If we missed yours, I'm so sorry.
And then
there it is.
There it is. Idaho Hoosier.
Idaho Hoosier.
Hoosier, right?
Hoosier, yes. Well, thank you very much.
I don't usually catch y'all live. I'm blessed tonight. Love all y'all. Blessings and thanks for everything, Julie.
Julie, thank you so much, Julie. I'm sorry we missed your
thanks
super
for the
chat.
heads up.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I didn't see them, or I would have stopped. Somebody asked that they like to use PayPal for the super chats when he's watching some of the channels, but he doesn't want to use PayPal anymore. So do you know of any other platform that they can use?
I haven't spent a lot of time researching this, but I have been looking, and there are options out there, but so many of these businesses and stuff, they only accept PayPal, or they only pay in PayPal. So there are some drawbacks to that. I did hear that there's a couple of, and I can't remember, so please forgive me, but I did read something the other day that there were a couple of existing services that don't do the same thing as PayPal, but they're trying to do that. So they may be a good alternative. But right now, while there are alternatives to PayPal, there's just some businesses that's all they take. And so it's either go through PayPal or just not, use that business. Jason, what did he comment here again?
Well, okay, first, John Waterman said December, Missouri will pass the Legal Tender Act.
I believe that's true, but I don't have any specific details.
There have been a few questions about your equipment, your mic, what are you using to run your stream and stuff. But then he says his channel, Jason Casper, he says his channel is very specific niche of day trading cryptocurrencies. It's not long-term investment stuff. He's a fellow homesteader and he really enjoys the content. If you want to drop your channel name, we can.
Yeah, it's go to Jason.
Because we do get a lot of questions.
Go to Jason Casper if you guys want to learn about, cryptocurrency of not long-term investment, but trading it and making some money off of it. This Jason Casper, I did look into him once. I've actually seen some of his content before. And so thank you for watching and for your donation. But certainly for those of you that have questions about that want to, learn about that, I would go to him. You were saying someone asked about the equipment.
A lot of people have asked. And then somebody was letting you know that Patrick's thing is always Saturday night.
That's right.
I forgot that today is not Sunday. It's Monday.
Yeah, days are starting to blur together.
It was Saturday, and he said that he has a rep that will support his bill.
Awesome. So as far as the equipment, we have a desktop computer. I have a little sound mixer board. These, I don't even know what brand these are. It says BM800, but I don't know what brand these mics are. And so it runs through the soundboard, and then that's plugged into the computer. And then I am using the camera that we are using is a Elgato Facecam is the camera that you're watching us through. So that's the equipment.
And I don't know.
And really cheap, the cheapest headphones I could probably find online.
Somebody says, Girl for Freedom says, Travis, please contact me by email. I have been trying to reach you. We have no way of contacting you if we don't have your email. So if you're wanting to be contacted, put it in all caps if it's important, if you have questions. I always tell people, because you get a lot. He gets a lot of
hundreds a day
emails, and we try, but honestly, it's so hard to keep up with and do everything else.
I'm on my phone seeing if I
here.
can find an email that looks like your name's on it. So you keep talking and I'll keep looking.
It's hard, guys. It's hard. Y'all have to be patient, and sometimes maybe even email him more than once.
And it's not just because I've got about 3 email accounts connected to all this, and then there's Facebook people message me, and then there's people that message me through our TPH network, and that's all fine. It's just it's hard to keep up on all that. Let's see. I'm still looking, and I don't. If it's here, it's possible that I have just overlooked it. So for whoever that was that she was saying that if you just email me again, and I do apologize.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm ignoring it. It's because all combined, not even including the comments and videos, just emails alone. It's nothing to get 200 to 500 a day.
Looks like the singles are coming out.
She's going heavy-handed on the band stick.
Everybody in Missouri right now is talking about the rain, and we're thankful after the fires.
Yes, we're very thankful of the rain. We've had nothing big fires. I mean, for around here, 200 or 300 acres that's gone up in smoke, but nothing like out west. But it's been drier here lately, and up until this rain, than it was back in the summer when we had all the talk of the droughts. And then we got some rain. We actually had quite a bit of rain there for about a week or two. Excuse me. And things did really good, and then it never rained again. And it's been, I don't know, weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks since it's rained really in this area. And so it's been raining the whole time we've been talking. And the forecast shows that it could rain all day tomorrow. So that's a good thing. I'm sure a lot of it will get washed downstream, but that's okay.
Miss Australian woman, I didn't mean to ban her.
Uh-oh.
It was an accident.
So
I unbanned her.
So, yeah, sorry. Australian woman, my wife clicked on the wrong person to ban. So we apologize. She's unbanned you now.
She said she was single, and at first I thought that it was one of those spammy things.
Oh.
She's like, single woman looking for, but it was. I'm sorry. I just apologize. Anyway,
yes, it's actually nice. Even through my headphones, I can
hear the rain.
With this metal roof, so it's kind of nice to hear. It's been so dry and dusty that you go outside and you can just taste it.
See a lot of people saying shalom.
Mm-hmm.
Are we coming up for air after our month-long holy days?
Oh, man. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it is a little overwhelming sometimes. Thank you, Will. Thank you very much.
Mr. Parker. Mm-hmm. Will Parker. What kind of livestock do we raise on? Can I answer that?
Sure, you can go ahead. I'll
the
drink
livestock.
My coffee.
We have goats for food that started off as pets that we've since. They were supposed to be my pets.
I didn't want him to begin.
He didn't want them, but we needed something to eat our poison ivy, and so he acquiesced, right? Like you.
Now everyone's going to think we're horrible that we're eating our pets. That's not exactly the truth.
No, but they've harmed our sheep. So we raise sheep, and those are that's our herd.
They've never been pets. That was the original intent, was to buy them for our oldest daughter.
For me first, and then they escaped, and she spent all this time trying to get them back, and so they kind of morphed into her pets, and then
for a week or two until she got tired of them.
And now we're like, they're so not trained, and they're unruly, and they're not very, good with the sheep. Anyway, so we raise sheep, but we also have ducks and chickens and turkeys, and we've had guinea, but not anymore because I couldn't handle it anymore. I wanted those too. He warned me, but we have to try. I had to try, but anyway, that's what we raise.
We have dogs and cats too.
We don't raise them for eating purposes.
For breeding.
Oh my goodness.
Although we have a dog that we call him the sausage dog. He was our oldest son's dog, and
he is kind of a sausage.
They moved
Anybody that's
to
ever
where they
seen him would
pets.
tell you.
Yeah, he's a sweet dog.
But he eats everything from our compost bucket he gets in or burn. I've caught his big bottom sticking out of the chicken coop.
I know.
Like
not
barely
eating eggs.
squeezing.
He's trying to eat the chicken food and everything.
Yes.
He'll eat the chicken food.
And
it's
his little bottom, it's not very little. His bottom is just sticking out. He got stuck coming out. He got in but couldn't get out. It was really, yeah. Somebody asked earlier, I forgot to admit, you were talking, do you take your family rucking with you? And I think we've talked about that.
We have before, yeah, we do.
And
this summer's been very busy, so we haven't done as much of that as a family as we've
But we've talked about, like, especially doing it during more severe weather.
Yeah.
And, just to kind of get used to it if you have to travel and that sort of stuff. So we do think it's a good idea.
We did it in the spring, and then summer was really hot, and it's been busy, so we've talked about doing it some more this fall. But, yeah, we do. And when we go out, we got bad posts in the thing. She's got to delete them. When we go out, it's not just for fun. I mean, it is fun, but I'll teach the kids how to use their compass and give them a coordinates and
how to find a water source. That was something else the boys were really interested in.
Yeah, how to take your compass and turn it at 176 degrees and walk 16 paces, and then plot them out a course. So it's a total learning experience when we do go rucking and stuff.
Somebody said it looks like Penny's Lucky Granny, the best in years, best colors in a long time. And I've actually heard several people talk about this year. The colors are incredible.
Yes.
And we were surprised because there was a drought.
Right. I think what happened, because I was actually thinking about this the other day, we had such a bad drought during the summer. I just figured we were not going to have any fall colors. But we got, like I said just a few minutes ago, we got a good week or two of a lot of rain. In fact, the creek that's behind our house, it flooded almost out of the banks. I mean, we had a lot of rain, and it wasn't just all at once. It was over a period of multiple days. And my goodness, even after all that rain, for at least a couple of weeks, everything was just so saturated. I think my opinion is that rain came just at the right time, that it helped the trees out, so that when fall came, they had enough water in them to keep the leaves looking pretty as opposed to just falling off. So that's my opinion. Not that anyone probably cares, but there are some really pretty.
It is really pretty, really, really pretty.
Yep.
Someone says, keep prepping. Thank you for the offer for the moderating.
Mm-hmm.
We actually were supposed to do that for someone, and we forgot. Sorry. For help with moderating because of the Looney Tunes in here.
Keep going.
My wife just told me I can't have a girlfriend, so ladies, I'm out. I don't know. I don't see any other question. Oh, do you prefer the taste of goats or sheep? And lamb is my favorite.
Yeah, lamb is better, I think, but
like a yearling. But goat meat is really
is not bad if it's done right. And here's the thing.
And what's right? How's right? On a fire?
Well, slow cooked is best. But here's the thing. Americans have gotten so used to our really bland meat because everything is so highly domesticated that, how many people, maybe some of you included, and don't be offended by this, okay? Let's not be offended.
No anger.
Is that people, I don't like venison. It's too gamey. Folks, that gamey flavor, that is the flavor of meat. It used to be, if you went back a couple hundred years ago and ate a steak.
That's how deer tastes in the wild. Like,
right.
This is how your food is going to taste.
Yeah, if you'd gone back a couple hundred years ago and eaten a steak from a cow, it would have tasted like that because they were more wild and they were, it wasn't quite as domesticated and grain fed and all this kind of stuff. So I don't particularly mind that gamey taste because that's just how it is. It's just meat. Now, of course, you can lessen that. Our goats were castrated. They were, I banded them when they were very young. So that's going to make it a little bit better. There's other things you can do, but I personally don't mind a little gaminess. That's just me. And if it's a little tough, just slow cook it.
Grandma Ginger says, yes, real meat. Hi,
Mm-hmm.
Grandma Ginger.
Grandma Ginger, one of our favorite people.
I'm a huge supporter of the channel and have a gold badge for adding people to
Awesome.
the site.
TPH Network. If you are not familiar with it,
Come on over to the meetings.
tphnetwork.com
Yeah.
is our website. Yeah, it's our website, and it's set up basically like a Facebook. It's a social media site. It's a free speech social media site, and it works very similar to Facebook. You can go to tphnetwork.com, sign up, completely free, no charge.
And I'm not there. I'm never there.
Yeah, I can't ever get her to get involved in there. And there's no advertisements or anything like that. We absorb all the costs to maintain it.
We do. I should try to be more involved since we do that.
And there's like 7,000 or 8,000 people over there, and again, it's a free speech platform. I will go in and remove posts, and I've never actually removed a person, but I will remove posts if they're just over the top. There are some rules. We don't attack individually. We don't make threats. Basically, we need to be civil, but also not be hypersensitive because someone said something that you don't like. But it's a really good site. There's all kinds. There's events. There's private groups. There's all kinds of stuff there.
Hair coming out.
Looks like we're buffering again.
Somebody says goat cheese is interesting, and I love goat cheese. That's my favorite cheese.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites. It's like a better than cream cheese, I think.
We're about ready to wrap this one up. Just letting you know.
That's
Any other
fine.
questions?
I don't know. I looked back.
Someone said that they'd read that beef had been bred to conform to McDonald's standards of beef taste. It's very possible. They have their own breed of potato, own variety of potato that is just for their French fries.
And not in a Waffle House kind of way.
No.
Like it's kind of really gross the way that they do the potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDonald's guilty of much more. Yeah, that's true.
That's very true. I never know how to say it. Chevre. How do you say that? Chev. The goat cheese.
Oh, I don't know.
It's kind of like a cream
PETA?
cheese.
Is that people eating tasty animals or people for the ethical treatment of animals? Someone said they liked PETA.
I like feta and beef and...
It's okay, just me, that you came on so late.
Smoked goat
We will forgive
Gouda.
you this time.
We were vegetarian, and I got very sick.
Yeah.
So.
Watch this. I don't know
If we turn it sideways, somebody was telling us you can make it longer.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's too big.
See, I'm messing things up on this little whatchamacallit thing.
You can turn it.
What in the world did I do wrong? Oh, man. See, I messed things up.
He's fixing it.
I'm fixing it.
He's
now.
the fixer.
There we go.
Yeah. I knew you could do it.
Sorry, I hit the wrong thing or
right.
something.
I guess we left the chat and came back.
Mm-hmm.
There are nutrients in beef that you cannot get elsewhere.
It's true.
Unfortunately, that is, as far as I can tell, the truth, the absolute truth.
Yep.
Somebody says, love your effort and you and yours for your time and news daily. My kids say hi, Travis, every time you say hi, folks.
Thank you.
Say it again? You should say it for the children.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead.
Yeah. Nutrients and beef, Costco. Somebody's 93-year-old mom enjoys listening.
Well, you tell her thank you and that I said hello.
Somebody says we're going to find a cave and move in. I don't think that's a bad idea.
I don't think that's a bad idea. No. Is it Rad Relics? No, we're not.
Who do you think will... Oh, we're not going to say that out loud.
You're supposed to pre-read them before you read them out loud. I'm sorry.
Somebody said the T-shirts, and I was trying to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a question. Oh, where do you get the T-shirts? Oh, okay, so you go to... I sent the link. It's in the
the description
chat.
Of this video. There's the very first link is there.
But it is. I can tell you the link.
Here, give me just a second, and I'll drop a link down in the chat. Copy.
It's right here.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'll get there. It just takes me a second or two.
It's not hard to remember or to say.
It takes me a second or two. I'm a little slow sometimes.
But, I mean, it does have dashes.
But you married me, so.
You're not that slow. So if I can just type it, look, right here. Say something. I can do it right here. Is that all right?
Yeah, you can. All right, I just posted it.
Oh, never mind.
Yep, I just posted it.
I was trying to help.
All right, so someone asked about suspicious observer and the thoughts on magnetic polar reversal. So yes, I do.
Oh, this one's hard. When you're done, I have a question.
Okay, I do watch Suspicious Observer, and I mean, I don't know that he's 100% right or not. He's definitely has greater knowledge than I do. I have seen a few other.
Way to know,
right, I've seen a few alternative theories, but they're all very close. Like it's more that like the minutia, the details are slightly different. I do think that we are probably in the works of some type of global change. I think the big debate is how bad is that? I've seen, like, it's almost like suspicious observers is kind of almost in the middle. I've seen people, their theories show that pretty much all of humanity, other than a very small, tiny percentage, might survive. And then his is kind of in the middle. And then I've seen others say, well, there'll be some deaths, but it's not going to be like, wiping out all of civilization. And I don't know where, I don't know.
Like for us, when we're listening, I think what we consider also is how does this jive with what Scripture says?
Right. Yeah, we look at that.
Yeah.
And then also, what can we do? I mean, like they say,
if
move to Colorado Mountain to the Rocky Mountains and live in a cave.
I'm not going there.
Well, number one, we don't have the money. Number two,
I don't want to be there with all those.
Right. The Rocky Mountains is probably the absolute best place in the North America to survive anything,
and laws
except right now because it's all run by a bunch of crazy liberals for the most part. So you have to balance that out. We live in the Ozark Mountains. We do the best we can. Most of the stuff that I've looked at shows that this is a pretty safe place to be. There are some, that show that it's not, but most of the show that it is a safe place. And yeah, we just...
And we know we're right on the New Madrid, but
we're not right on it.
I mean, not on it,
but
we're
a few hours away.
But the point, we're close. And so why in the world would you move there? People have asked me that.
A couple hundred miles away.
But talk about the plate. I mean, it's a big...
Okay, because some people do. They're like, why would you live in the Ozarks? That's close to the New Madrid fault line. It's not close, but, we're couple 100 miles from it. Um, or maybe not a couple hundred, or at least a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours from it. But anyways, the Missouri DNR actually put out a study on this a few years ago. But before that study, I already knew this. If you go back to the 1820 something, 1830 something, when the New Madrid went the last time, the data that they were able to come up with then, it showed that virtually all of the energy from that earthquake went east. Okay. It went east of it. And the reason is if you look at the geology on either side of the New Madrid, on the western side, which is where we live, you have the Ozark Plateau, and the Ozark Plateau is basically one gigantic piece of rock. That's all it is. If you look at it on a topographical map, you've got the plains on the west of us, and you've got, basically from the Ozarks to the Appalachian Mountains, it's all flat for the most part. And then you've got the Ozark Plateau that just sets up, 800, 900 feet at least minimum, up to 12, 1400 feet above the plains. That big plateau is just a gigantic piece of rock, pretty much.
Limestone.
And it's limestone for the most part. I mean,
crystal.
there's some other stones, but it's predominantly limestone, and it acts as kind of a buffer. And the Missouri DNR has done studies, and others, geological societies and stuff I've read, and they expect that the Ozarks would I mean, we would feel it, but it would not be devastating. It wouldn't be knocking buildings over and stuff. Most of the numbers that I've seen, like in our area, we would feel somewhere between a 3 and a 5, which, is going to shake things up, knock things off the shelf, that kind of stuff, but it's not going to, it's not going to devastate us.
Right, you're not going to fall into the abyss.
Because of the distance and because of the way it moves. And I don't fully understand it, but I remember reading it. It's the way that fault line, so it's when it goes, it's pushing pretty much one direction, and it's pushing eastward.
So here's that question. This gentleman, I think, according to what he says, Travis, obviously you and your wife are together with regard to your homesteading lifestyle. Do you have any advice for guys whose wives are not interested in moving away from the city life? And what's interesting about this question, I thought, was you normally get asked from women.
Ask me the hard ones.
But the women...
Give me the hard questions.
I just thought it was... I mean, I could probably help him better than you because I'm a woman, right?
Sure.
But
go ahead. You answer that.
But the women... No, I don't. He didn't ask me. He asked you. But women tend to ask you this more than men.
That's true.
We get so many people
I'm getting all of my whiskers
about how to get their husbands on board.
Right.
And I don't know, like
when I started this channel, I assumed that the vast majority of my listeners would be men. And it's actually about 50-50, and probably 75% of the emails I get are from women.
Asking for advice or help.
Or they're speaking for their husband. They're not necessarily single. They're the one reaching out to me, but a lot of women are have a hard time getting their husbands on board. I do get a few of it being the reversal, the men having a hard time getting their wives on board.
But she likes the city life, and I have someone in my life that I love very much that I would love to get her out of the city. My mom, actually. But she likes the city, and so I know that must be very hard.
I would try to compromise. Do some research. If there's a certain state or area that you want to live in, try to find, where you can live kind of on that edge, the edge of the city where it's not that far for her to go into the city, but yet you're living out in the country. I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but you don't want to be near the cities. Well, look for maybe some of the more moderate-sized cities, instead of living right outside of Chicago or Dallas or St. Louis, pick more of a moderate-sized city that does have most of the conveniences that someone would want, but then, maybe you can live out so that you're still out in the country, but it's not that far to go into town. Maybe that will work if that's the big hang-up.
Also, like, if like you'd need to know what her specific
Yes.
hang-ups are.
Right.
And do your best to
I
address
mean,
that.
what is it about? Is it just because, and maybe that's something for you to kind of, like, if you don't know that answer as the husband, you say, well, my wife likes the city. Well, what is it about the city? Does she like that she can stop on the way to work every morning and get a Starbucks? Because out here in the country, that's not going to happen. Is that the hang up? Is it, because there's a particular restaurant she likes, or there's certain shopping places that she likes, or is it just that it's just a few minutes down the road to the grocery store? Try to get some more specifics, and then try to figure out if there's a way to compromise. I mean, the nearest town to us is 2 hours away, and it's just under 200,000. The nearest big town. But in between that and us, there's tons of little towns, and even some of these towns that may only have 2,000 or 3,000 people in them, some of them have hardly like any businesses. Like where we're sitting right now, we're pretty evenly separated between these two towns. Their population numbers are almost identical, like within maybe 50 people difference, and yet one has a Walmart supercenter, several restaurants, several fast food places, a big farm store, several different businesses, a hardware store, several motels.
A couple of nice restaurants, too.
Yeah, several nice restaurants. The other town...
Not chain restaurants,
no,
really, but yeah.
And then the other town, the other direction, almost the exact same amount of people, and it has a Sonic and a little tiny Mexican place, and a little bitty, locally owned grocery store.
A Dollar General.
And a Dollar General, and that's like it. And so just looking at population doesn't tell you everything of a town. You can find a town that may have 15 or 20,000 people that's surrounded by rural, area, and they have quite a few places in town to do all kinds of shopping. And maybe that would be enough. So I would dig deeper into what it is, not just that, well, she likes the city. What are the specifics of why? And maybe you can come to a compromise.
Is there a channel that he could get, like, maybe that might be good for her to watch? It's kind of like for beginners,
beginners. I can't think of anything right off the top of it. I mean,
but email us if you want more advice.
There's a ton of
you could
YouTube
maybe show her some
channels,
videos that you handpick, because you know her.
Yeah. I shouldn't really say this, being that I make YouTube videos, but I'm so busy I honestly don't sit and watch a whole lot of YouTube videos. In the evening, sometimes I might watch a few minutes of one or two, but
yeah,
I don't really.
I don't watch them really, hardly ever.
I'm just
at
so
all.
busy.
I watch Rain Country, and I watch. I used to watch Christian. What's his channel?
Ice Age Farmer.
Yeah, I loved his channel. And who else do I like?
I don't know.
know.
She never watches my channel, so I mean.
That's not true. That's not true. I just don't ever watch it in front of you, because you get mad when I watch it in front of you.
I don't like hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I'll make a video and someone will comment, "Oh, you must have watched so and so, and that's why you're making this." And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sometimes it's really, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. Sometimes it's really curious that 2 or 3 of you will talk about the same thing, and that y'all haven't had enough time to watch this video and make it, because you guys don't know how long. A lot of you don't know how long it takes to research and then make the video, edit the video, and then get it uploaded for us, because sometimes that's the hardest part.
We have rural internet. I mean, on a good day, I can have a video uploaded in 30 minutes, but on kind of a bad day out here in the country, it may
could take like
4 to 6 hours is not uncommon for that video.
That happened one time. It told you it was going to take you 100 hours.
Yeah, there's been times it'll be like 24 hours or 47 hours. I'm like, oh my goodness, the world will end by then.
We hear this a lot. Dreams and visions brought us here. No one told us anything about the Ozarks. We came sight unseen.
Oh, man.
And we have heard that. I've heard that for 10 years at least. I think it's very fascinating. Yep. You're not alone. Yep. A lot of people have told us. I felt led.
Yep. I cannot tell you the amount of people.
Yeah.
And
It's
some
kind
of
of
them,
crazy.
most of them have some type of, their spiritual belief has brought them, through that. But I've talked to people that it wasn't like they felt that necessarily God told them or anything like that. They just felt a drawing here. There was, there's so many. I've talked to people that's had visions. It's had, people randomly out of nowhere tell them they need to move here. All kinds of stuff. I believe that there is something kind of special about the Ozarks. Maybe someday I'm going to make a video on that one. Probably bore a bunch of people to death, but it might be interesting.
So, Full of Grace Homestead recommended Appalachia Homestead
Mm-hmm.
with Patera.
Oh,
how do you say her name? Patera?
Yes, Appalachian Homestead.
I don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's Appalachia Homestead.
Appalachia. Sorry. I'm thinking
I've been away from the Smoky Mountains too long. I'm saying it the wrong way.
This person says, Rad Relics.
Uh-huh.
My wife doesn't watch my videos either, but she's in most of them.
Oh.
So he was relating with you. Somebody else recommends that.
Yeah, Appalachian.
Appalachian, right?
Appalachian.
Appalachian?
No, I mean.
How does she say it?
I think she says Appalachian, but
Okay.
that's kind of.
Well, I want to say it.
That's what it.
So
that's
somebody
what
asked, where is
say.
Ice Age Farmer? And he's on, what is that? Telegram. He does get on Telegram. And he will sometimes put content up and then take it down in the same day, right? Like within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But he got a little more private, and I don't blame him, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm about ready to get off here.
They all watch her. I don't watch her. I need to watch her.
That's the one I was watching earlier. I watched probably.
Oh.
She made a video about.
I know her voice. I just didn't know
yeah.
her face or what
she was
channel
challenging
she was.
other YouTubers to give back to the community and
be part of it.
Be part of the community,
like,
and give back. Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't able to do the things that we do with the community. You know, like not everybody has the capability or the ability to put together meetings and do the. We're blessed in that we get to bless people, but if you don't know, she like gave some really good ideas. I was actually like, go to the school. That one was my favorite. Yeah. Go to the school and see if you can find out if there's pay balances or a balance for a child that has late lunch money and can't. And then veterans, and different ways. So you should go check out that video. I was listening to that. I just didn't know I was listening to her.
I think that's the only one that I watched all day today. I mean, I may have watched just a couple of minutes of another one or two, but I've been just busy all day long.
Well, and this morning when we got the notice one, the one where that person was recording at an expo,
Yeah, a friend of ours sent us another. I'm not going to point them out, but sent us another video of a very large homestead YouTube channel, really trash talking preppers and other homestead channels, that kind of stuff.
What do you remember how to say her name?
Who?
Patera.
No, I don't. Patera.
That's what
I think that's what it is.
I'm waiting for Momo to show up as a special guest on one of your walking videos. You can't live here and not know who Momo is.
Yeah. I've invited a few people to come walk with me. I was thinking maybe one day I'll get a bunch of our people in locally that don't care to be on the video, and just get them all. We'll have 20 or 30 people walking down the trail. I thought that would be kind of cool. I'm surprised you don't ever see Bigfoot. He's always following me up there in those woods. I have to say that because every time I jokingly mention Bigfoot, then I get a bunch of people commenting and a bunch of emails.
They get excited. Everybody gets excited. Where's my cup?
Emails.
I should have brought my cup.
I get emails. She's got a Bigfoot cup.
What's it say? I believe.
Yeah.
Right? I think it says I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. But I love the cup.
I
bought it for you.
I have to admit, I have spent most of my life out in these Ozark woods and camping, hunting, and all kinds of stuff. And I have heard some weird things that I can't really explain any other way. So it's possible. Yeah, we can all crunch. Man, do you realize how loud that would be? 25, 30 of us walking down that gravel road.
You'd have some really angry, some very angry viewers.
There'd be some people really upset.
See, some of us have this little thing called misophonia. And I think if it's bothering you really bad, that's probably what's going on with you. And it's not him, it's you. And that's how I am. Like, I can't handle the sounds sometimes. And if it like, there's no way to fix it. Tell him you'd fix it if you could.
I did, and I'm trying to. This microphone, I can adjust the sound, like the equalizer and all that. So I'm trying to find a sweet spot that it's not maybe as piercing, that crunch sound is not as piercing, to try to make it,
That's very thoughtful of you. I didn't know you were doing that for people.
Yeah.
Is it because you love me and people like me?
Of course.
It's okay. Somebody asked if I had a channel. No, I don't have a channel. I just get on here sometimes with this handsome fella.
Oh, goodness gracious. You're going to make everybody sick now. Are we about ready to get off here? I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. Oh, wait a minute. I did eat a little bit. And
I made you food.
And dinner's, and I'm anxious because that's my favorite kind of food.
And
it's starting to storm again.
Carb.
It's picking up. I can tell it's buffering. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up. I know you're all having a blast. Hear us talk about nothing. Cowboy Bear, thank you.
He says, love your content, bud. This summer I closed on 20 AC.
20 acres. A new 30
16
sawmill.
Yeah, 16-foot sawmill. And a new 50 HP
awesome.
Tractor.
Congratulations,
Jumping
Cowboy
headfirst,
Bear.
going back to my roots.
That's really what you got to do. You just got to, and you're going to make mistakes all the time. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be. Whatever your plans are, it's probably going to be a little different, and you're going to make mistakes all the time. But that's okay.
You've been doing this so long, but remember, I
still make mistakes.
This is my first, I've researched and done all this stuff where I knew this is the life I wanted long before I ever met you, but I'd never done it. And remember when I got here, how I cried because I broke the lawnmower, and he's like, babe, it happens. This stuff happens.
It happens.
So
I've gardened and
keep going.
And raised animals and
it happens.
And burned firewood and stuff my whole life, and I still make mistakes all the time. All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Somebody wants to know real quick, how do you feed animals if stuff hits the fan?
You better be planning on that. Our sheep are capable of eating anything because they're primitive breeds, so they don't have to just have grass.
They're kind of parasite resistant.
Yeah, very parasite resistant. They can, and there's natural parasites that we grow and can make for them. Anti-parasitic plants. But our sheep, they can go in the woods and eat stuff, and so try to get things that, the type of animals. Same with our chickens. We try to get chickens that are good natural foragers that. If we had to just turn them loose and not feed them, that they could find food. And then you need to have a plan to try to grow as much of that food as you can. Even if it's just a half acre of just, field corn or something like that to just feed to the animals, that definitely needs to be part of your plan. And then also, you may have the neighbor next to you has a big field of hay, and you can work out some bartering. There are ways to do it, but you certainly need to plan ahead.
And
last one.
Okay, I know, but I wanted to say something. Okay. This right here, and then we're going. All right. Because this man needs to eat, and we gotta get inside before it starts pouring too bad. We're gonna be all soaked.
Oh, I'm telling you, I will melt away. I'm too delicate.
You're too sweet.
I'm too delicate. I just am. I'm too delicate for the rain.
I might be though. I might be too sweet. No, I'm just.
Go
kidding.
ahead.
Okay, so do you ever feel, no matter how prepared you are, that it won't be enough? It isn't enough.
Certainly.
And I think that I just wanted to say, I think that we think that all the time, but it's not a reason or an excuse to stop trying. And also, even if you don't wind up using it, somebody else might be able, I don't know. I just think that there's always a way to keep encouraging yourself and keep going. I don't think that we're ever going to have enough. That's where faith, I think
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
fills in. Like, you do the best you can with
There's
what you have,
there's only a few people
and then
that,
you trust him to fill in the gaps.
yes, yeah. There's only a few people on the planet that can prep like Bill Gates or Elon Musk, and the rest of us.
It ain't us.
And you know, some of you may make 30,000 a year, some of you may make 130,000 a year. So yes, there's some difference there, but yeah, none of us are completely prepared. I'm certainly not. I can count on one or two fingers of the people that I have met and known that I would say they are ultimately prepared. And yet the thing is when I talk to them, they tell me, man, I wish I had this. I need to get this done. I still need to do this. So I don't think that, at least in our circles, no, you're never going to be completely prepared.
But I just want to encourage. Just encourage.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep focusing.
No matter how you feel like you're never going to have enough, like, it's just.
Yep.
We do the best we can.
Right. Because
and then there's faith.
If the doo-doo hits the fan tomorrow and we don't have everything done that we want done, from there on, it's our wits, our strength, our grit. That's what's going to, and we'll use what we have.
I think that was important. So on that note, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you all for coming along and visiting. Stop all the arguing in there. I see y'all.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, folks. It's been a great evening, and, well, I'm going to go get me something.